What if I told you the most powerful weapon in the US arsenal isn't a nuclear missile or a stealth bomber? It's this piece of paper. In 1944, while the world was still on fire, 44 nations met in a hotel in New Hampshire. They didn't know it yet, but they were handing over the keys to their future. Today, if the US wants to destroy a country, they don't need to invade it. They just need to press delete on their bank account. Before World War II, the British pound ruled the world. London was the financial capital. Every major trade, every loan, every deal went through British banks. The sun never set on the British Empire's money. But then, Hitler happened. Europe became a graveyard. Britain was bleeding money fighting the war. Their gold reserves were vanishing. The pound was dying, and everyone knew it. The world needed a new money king. America saw the opportunity. While Europe was in ruins, the US had everything. Factories running, economy booming, and most importantly, 2/3 of the world's gold sitting in Fort Knox. Money follows power, and power was moving west. July 44, Bretton Woods, New Hampshire. Inside that hotel, 730 delegates from 44 countries gathered. The question wasn't just about rebuilding after the war. It was about who would control the world's money forever. The British sent their genius economist, John Maynard Keynes. He proposed a neutral world currency called Bancor. Smart idea, fair idea. But America had the gold, and gold makes the rules. Keynes lost before he even started. The Americans made an offer nobody could refuse. Every currency would be tied to the dollar, and every dollar would be backed by gold. $35 bought you 1 ounce of gold, guaranteed. The dollar became as good as gold itself. It was brilliant. Countries needed dollars to trade with each other. Want to buy oil from Saudi Arabia? You need dollars. Want to buy wheat from Argentina? You need dollars. Suddenly, every country on Earth was forced to care about America's currency. The dollar became global infrastructure, not just American money, but the plumbing of world trade. The Federal Reserve in Washington didn't just control American money anymore, they controlled everyone's money. That's power you can't bomb away. For 27 years, it worked beautifully, and to be fair, it created unprecedented global economic growth. Bretton Woods gave the world stable exchange rates and predictable trade, but stability also meant control. Then, 1971 arrived. America had been printing money to pay for the Vietnam War. Countries started getting nervous. France's President de Gaulle did the math and demanded, "Give us our gold back." Other countries lined up too. Everyone wanted their gold. America faced a choice: hand over the gold and go broke, or change the rules. On August 15, 1971, President Nixon went on TV and dropped the bomb.
Taking decisive action to suspend the convertibility of the dollar into gold. This action is necessary.
The dollar is no longer convertible to gold. Just like that, the promise was broken. The dollar was now backed by nothing except America's word. Economists predicted disaster, but something strange happened. The dollar got stronger. Why? Because America made a new deal. In 1974, the US made an agreement with Saudi Arabia. You sell oil only in dollars, and we'll protect your kingdom with our military. Saudi Arabia agreed. Then every oil nation followed. The Petrodollar was born. Now it wasn't gold backing the dollar, it was oil, the lifeblood of civilization. Every country needed oil. Every drop of oil cost dollars. The trap was complete. You couldn't escape the dollar even if you wanted to. But the real weapon was still being built. In 1973, banks created SWIFT, the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. Sounds boring. It's not. It's the messaging system that moves money between countries, and America controlled it. Every international payment, every wire transfer, every trade settlement goes through SWIFT. It's like the post office for the world's money. Cut a country off from SWIFT and they're financially dead. No imports, no exports, economic suffocation. Iran learned this the hard way. In 2012, the US opposed Iran's nuclear program. No invasion, no bombs, just one move. Iran, you're out of SWIFT. Their economy collapsed by 30%. Their currency became worthless overnight. Russia got the same treatment in 2022. After invading Ukraine, the West hit the nuclear button, kicked Russian banks out of SWIFT, and froze $300 billion of Russian central bank reserves. $300 billion, just gone, locked away. Think about that. Russia saved money for decades, kept it in dollars and euros, thought it was safe. Then one day, America and Europe said, that's not your money anymore. No judge, no trial, just power. Now here's the thing. These sanctions had reasons. Nuclear weapons programs, military invasions. The dollar system isn't just a weapon of oppression, it's also how the world enforces consequences without dropping bombs. Is that better than war? Worse? That's for you to decide. This is how modern warfare works. You don't need aircraft carriers anymore. Control the money, control everything. Food, medicine, technology, trade, it all flows through the dollar system. Step out of line and the money stops flowing. Countries are fighting back. China's building their own payment systems. Russia is trading in yuan. BRICS nations talk about a new currency. But here's the reality. 88% of all global currency transactions still involve the dollar. 79 years after Bretton Woods, that piece of paper still rules. The question isn't whether the dollar will fall. Every empire's currency eventually does. The question is, what comes next? A Chinese yuan system? A multipolar world with competing currencies? Digital money that no country controls? And the bigger question, in a world where money is a weapon, who gets to pull the trigger?